Welcome to the Bodybuilding Banter podcast, your number one source of all things bodybuilding. Be sure to like and subscribe to stay up to date on future episodes. Now, here's your host, Leroy Rollins.
All right, dudes. How we doing?
Good, man. How are you? How are you boys?
I'm good. Slowly, potentially seeing gyms open in week and a half, 2 weeks, June 29th, so we'll take that.
By the time gym's open, you might have your own set up.
That's the goal, man. Going to get my leg press tomorrow night. I'm pretty freaking pumped about that.
Oh, sweet.
I'm jealous.
Oh.
I'll be honest, though. Our gyms have been open for probably 2 weeks or something. And I forget that I can still go to a commercial gym now.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to the garage. Like,
Yep.
I don't even think about, like, oh, it'd be nice to have a hack squat or it'd be nice to have. I just do it. So.
Yeah, I think that's what a lot of people are going to do, honestly. I think we're going to see a lot of people just not go back for that reason that they don't. Dan's gone. Jesus Christ, man. No, yeah, I think a lot of people are going to do that. Especially people that are just like passive exercise, contributors. They're not going to go out of their way to like go to the gym if they have half decent stuff at home, right?
Right. Can we set up a GoFundMe for Dan's internet?
Oh my God. He's gone again. What a guy.
Face to freeze on.
Yeah. What's the deal with work? Any news, like, as far as restrictions for you and all that crap?
It's still been the same, really.
Yeah.
We're kind of just playing it by ear, see how things go. I mean, we're starting to get surgeries done again, so we're getting that influx. I don't know. It's kind of annoying right now just because we're playing this numbers game of how many people can each employee handle before we bring someone back, because they don't want to bring someone back for 10 hours.
Yep.
I feel like I haven't slept in like 3 months, so
Awesome.
I really haven't. My stories, I'm really not sleeping, so.
Yeah. How's the rebranding going?
I haven't made that full announcement yet, but no, it's going well. I spoke with the lawyer. Everything's good on that front. I just got to get my forms all together and like figure out the actual structure a little bit, and then things are going to go live here sooner than later, really.
Dope. That's awesome, man.
Yeah,
Dan, are you?
Get that going.
Yeah, for sure.
I can come back. I'm on my phone, not my laptop this time. So it kept freezing. I don't know what it was. It seems like it's Messenger. It doesn't seem like my laptop this time, but usually it's the laptop. It's like completely just imploded this time. Just completely shut down. It just frozen the screen. So.
Jeez. Jesus.
I feel like it'd be bad luck if something didn't happen to Dan's feed.
It's gonna be I swear, it's like every single time. I'm like, well, I got the headset working, and then all of a sudden, like, okay, well, now I have to switch over to my phone, so I can't use it again. So it's just like.
Just had to make it complicated, didn't you?
I know, but it's funny because my iPhone is doing better than my actual computer for this. Like my little tiny iPhone.
Hey.
Not that small anymore, but.
Whatever works. You just need a screen. So, current training. James, how's things?
It has been dog shit.
And cut.
Just because I've been so dang busy. We were doing, I forget the split even, like my brain's shot right now. We were doing a 5-day split, and it was like consistent where I was splitting up the sessions just because I physically couldn't get through a full session in the time I had. So I was doing like some in the morning, some in the afternoon, double sessions on Sundays because I had Sundays off, even though it's supposed to be a rest day. Like,
jeez,
just wasn't working. So now we've dropped down to a 4-day where I'm doing upper, lower, upper, full. And we've done that in the past. Actually, in the past, when rugby season was in, Brett and I were doing a 3-day full body split. And that was honestly like my best training of this off season because I could really hammer on those days.
Yeah, yeah.
When I was in the gym, it was like all out, like let's crush it, nothing else in my head, and it wasn't like, all right, I got to get like 4 more sessions in this week and bounce things around.
Yeah.
So hopefully things improve a little bit. I think we've tweaked it enough now around some of the injuries that have been plaguing me, where I should be able to get into a routine. It's just fucking tired.
A man needs a nap.
Yeah, I took a nap. I literally took a nap when I got home from like 4 to 5, and then I did some work, and now I'm podcasting. So
Good. That's what we like to hear. Dan?
You're fresh for the podcast.
yeah.
How's things with you, Dan?
Going pretty well. Training actually every day at this point, just because of the way I'm having to like split things up. I'm trying to drive my mostly my arms and traps up, so it's just like a lot of higher frequency stuff. So it just happens to be that I just split it up into training every day at this point. So I'm AM PM stuff as well to kind of help with that. I feel like I'm spending all day training. That's what it feels like.
Yeah.
It's not that hard really. Like most of the time, most of the work, most of it's like. I mean, I'm still squatting and doing all but I'm keeping my set count down on my like chest work, my back work, my leg work, so like the hard stuff. But just lots of sets of lateral raises and bicep curls and bicep extensions. It's fine, but the arms need to come up. So
Yeah. I'm doing a bro split for the first time in I don't know when. I finished the first like block that he's given me. So this new block now is ridiculously high volume body part splits. Like legs was like 8 or 9 exercises, almost 4 sets each. It was terrible. I was just bagged.
it's not Cliff, is it?
Yeah.
Or it is Cliff.
Yeah. Yeah. So I have it's legs, chest, back, rest, and then shoulders, traps, arms, rest. So it's super, super different. Like I'm not used to it at all. And it was definitely like I was just not used to just doing so much at one time for a specific body part. Like even legs, I've never done that much. But yeah, it's weird, but it seems to be fine. I don't seem to be like hindered recovery wise, which is good. I thought I was going to be like wrecked for the first week, but I seem to be fine.
Did he talk you through any of the reasoning? And if you don't want to talk about that, that's fine. Like his secrets and stuff like that. But did he give you like a philosophy behind why he was switching into that?
No, so actually when I first started, he gave me like this program that had 3 different blocks, and this just happens to be the second one. It's not something that I don't think specifically customized for me. When I first started, he was like, just pay attention to your back and make sure you're feeling it. Because whether or not we've talked about it at all, but that's the area that he mentioned that he wants to like, focus on a bit. So, but there was nothing that he was like, okay, this is an area we need to like really focus on. It was just more so when you're training your back, make sure you're contracting and not using your biceps and all that kind of stuff, right? So this is just seems to be kind of the structure of this 12-week, program thing he's got going. So it must be just like a, moderate volume to like an extremely high volume. And then I think when I checked it out the other day, it goes back down to kind of like a push-pull legs split after this. And then it'll be interesting to see what happens then, because I'll be roughly like 6 to 8 weeks out at that time. So then whether he kind of fine-tunes things a little bit more, we'll see.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it's cool. 166 was a low this past week, which is crazy at 19 weeks out, with still roughly 20 left by his standards, which is mind-blowing.
He has a different standard than I think a lot of coaches do.
Yeah, it's I've never been this far out looking this way, and it makes me think I'm ahead, but I also know that he wants me leaner, so I'm probably not ahead at all.
It's going to be interesting to see the difference, though, now that you're working with someone of that caliber.
Yeah.
Just to, like, drive you to that next level.
Yeah, that's the goal anyways. There's just little things that are still so weird to me. Like I'm eating so less compared to what I'm used to, but I'm doing like next to no cardio, so I don't feel too bad. Whereas I know if I was doing this much food and as much cardio as I was doing before, like I'd be bagged right now. I would just be dead. But because I'm not doing a whole lot, and especially like with what I do for work, it's really not that intensive. So I think it was either last week or the week before, he had mentioned in an email, he's just like, I want you to put like all your effort into training, and then outside of training, do as little as possible.
Right.
I'm like, okay.
Honestly, that's the approach I prefer when I'm doing my own diets. Now, Brett and I have a more moderate one, but like I'll eat sand if it means I don't have to do cardio.
Yeah.
Just because I have habitually underate like most of my life. Like I can go all day, 1,200 calories, and be like, yeah, I guess I should eat something else and like not be starving. So
Yeah.
it's weird.
Yeah, it's just different. And then like with the food and stuff, I was used to having like cheat meals that were pretty carefree, whereas now I have refeeds that are very, very meticulous and I have to track them. So it's like I'm used to having this freedom where I would crush like a couple thousand calories, and now it's just like, nope, you get this much. You can play with the food choices, but that's it. So it's a good learning experience. This is what I wanted out of it, right? I wanted to learn some stuff from someone at his level, and obviously, hopefully, bring improved physique, but also just learn different coaching styles and stuff, right? Yeah.
Can we talk for a second about Dan's food choices? These sandwiches and like cheese and crackers and shit.
Right back at you with your shake.
The shake is next level, man.
Dan's always eating pickles.
I actually separate them out. You put it all in one shake and just blend it.
Every time I check your story, though, it's like a pickle and
Yeah.
cheese and crackers. It's like you're like I don't.
He's 6. He's a 6-year-old bodybuilder.
Every day, and it's fantastic to watch how you get.
I can explain all of them if you want.
Go for it.
The pickle is just for extra salt so I don't cramp, especially after an AM session. I got a PM session. I need like at least 1,500 milligrams of sodium, or like post training, or I cramp. Like especially in my forearms after biceps, like I can't get my hand over my head if I don't. So, and then the cheese and crackers. I just need a lot of fat at the end of the day.
You just like it.
I got bored of my own sandwiches, and I'm like, oh, all right, Triscuits and sharp cheddar cheese. That'll work. I just do it. It's like at the end of the day, I'm like, all right, I'm going to do the same thing because it's easy and I like it. So
You're making the bodybuilder purists angry.
That's what I was just thinking. Yeah.
I drink it with my Fairlife shake, though, so it's got like 50 plus grams of protein in the meal. So
there you go.
You would piss off so many people, Dan, if they just saw like photo of Dan and then like
sandwich
using crackers and sandwiches. Like things don't compute.
What's wrong about Triscuits? Triscuits are great.
I can't remember the last time I had a cracker. Genuinely, I couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you the last time I had a cracker.
Yeah, it's been a while.
It was either a very sad or very happy day when I had a cracker.
My shakes are not that bad, by the way, Dan. If you think about it, they're like a less refined version of one of those like naked juices. It's just a shit ton of vegetables and fruit, just in it with protein.
I think it was the chocolate milk that threw me off on that one.
That I don't prefer, but there's like 50 carbs in it per serving. It's crazy high carbs. I'm terrible about getting carbs in, so it just made sense. So
yeah, that would make it easier.
Yeah,
it's just like the chocolate, and then on top of that, you had 2 scoops of like the salted caramel way, which is
no, I did the vanilla. I did the vanilla, not the salted caramel.
Okay, yeah. So that's a little less sweet. It's just like we talked about. I mean, my sweet tooth is just not really that existent right now.
Yeah.
Like,
I learned.
We gotta get your opinion on this. Do you have a different preferred protein flavor when you're deep in prep versus off season?
I just eat chocolate. I'm so lame when it comes to that shit. I like what I like. And actually, that's what I've been getting on is chocolate caramel fudge. We have it at work. We make like protein shakes and stuff. So every time I go to work after training, I get chocolate caramel fudge instead of triple chocolate, and that's exciting.
Yeah, we were chatting, me and Dan, the other day. I think there's like an inverse relationship. When I'm off season, I just go like vanilla or like snickerdoodle, something that's like super subtle. But just telling them the GNC brand stuff, I don't even know, what is it, GNC Amp, Dan? Is that what the protein is?
The one I bought is I think the Sustain blend, but the GNC stuff they're really good.
Their flavors are crazy, and I had a Fruit Loop one last prep when I was eating like 1,300 calories, and I like almost cried when I drank it. Like it was so sweet, I became emotional. I was like, oh my god, this is fantastic.
I'm pretty sure that's the first time I tried the cinnamon toast one. It was during prep, and I'm like, oh my god, this is the best thing ever.
What made it worse was it was just with water. I wasn't even mixing it with milk at that time. It was just like Fruit Loops flavored protein and water, and I was like emotional about how good it tasted.
Oh, it doesn't even matter at that point. At a certain point, like
I learned last night how much strawberries per calorie per carb there is. That's a good time. I was allowed because I dropped so much weight. I almost dropped 4 pounds last week. He's like have 15 grams of carbs of whatever you want. So then I was like, what do I want to make this worthwhile out of? And I'm kind of getting to the hungry point. I'm starting to get hungry, so now food volume's starting to become a thing. And I was like, I feel like I heard somewhere strawberries are like a lot of volume for not that much. 200 grams, man, is 15 carbs, and it's like a whole bowl. And I was so happy.
Yeah. I use that with my clients a lot. I tell them just slice them up because then you're only like half of it at a time, so It seems like more.
Yeah.
A little bit of stevia and a little bit of cinnamon, and it's like killer.
Yeah. So now last meal is I got my eggs and I got my bowl of oatmeal, then I got my bowl of strawberries. It looks like a buffet basically. Fantastic way to end the day.
So you dropped 4 pounds last week?
I went from 170.1 to 166 point something on Saturday, but then I was 167 on Tuesday when I checked in. But I'm going to take that 166. So yeah, basically I've had like threes and twos pretty regularly, and then that 4 spiked up. I would love to see by like end of July, like I would love to see like a 159. I think that'd be pretty slick because then I'd be July, August, September. I'd still be like 10 weeks out into the 150s. That'd be mint.
Wow. Yeah. How often does he have you weighing in?
I just check in. Like, he doesn't give me a set, like, I need you to weigh every day and average it, blah, blah. I check in Tuesdays with him, and I'll send weight and photos on that day. But I'll check, like, periodically. Like, usually, if I weigh Tuesday, like, tomorrow's Thursday, I'll probably check tomorrow morning out of curiosity. And then I check Saturdays because that's, like, X weeks out. So, yeah, typically, like, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, if I wanted to give you kind of a general look at it.
So a few times a week. James, what's your approach?
I do every single day. I don't know. I like it just
off-season or both?
What was that?
Off-season too or both?
I do off-season as well most of the time. Right now I am a little bit more because we're trying to like push calories as high as possible, so I'm making sure that we're not getting any like crazy jumps or anything. But also like the scale's right next to my like shower, so right as I get up in the morning I just hop on it and everything. And sometimes I won't necessarily track it. I'll just look and make sure I'm like in a ballpark of where I want to be if it's off season. So
what's crazy is I did a side-by-side on Instagram at 192, and I'll lose nearly 50 pounds this prep.
Wow.
That's twisted. On a 5'7" frame, that's messed up.
that's probably where I would have been if I would have gone straight through with this prep that I kind of bailed on. Because I got a 220 was my top number, and I can't imagine I'd be any heavier than max of 170 on stage. So,
Jeez. It seems crazy to think about.
yeah. I mean, that's like someone's lifetime goal achievement of losing weight, and you're just kind of doing it to do it.
Just for giggles. Yeah, and I'm like, yeah, where's the food afterwards? I hope this isn't a one-shot season. I hope I can compete a couple times before it's all said and done.
Yeah, I think it'd be worthwhile.
The problem is the border. The border's going to screw me if anything.
It's what now? Closed until end of July,
Yeah.
I think. Yeah, because I'm supposed to go fishing like August 5th in Canada. It might be like trying to sneak myself across the border.
With some fishing poles.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know. We're hopeful. Obviously, the show that I'm planning is in the country, so to fly across is hopefully not an issue, and by then for sure not an issue. But ideally, we could make a couple trips to the States and do some stuff. I'd love to do an OCB show if I could, and then I would love to go to Worlds if at all possible, but we'll see. Canadian Nationals is in Toronto, and Toronto's a clusterfuck right now, so I'm not banking on that. It's in December, so hopefully it runs by then, but right now I'm skeptical of shows running in Toronto right now.
Have any shows gone on? Have you guys heard of any shows?
There's been some NPC shows go on.
Oh, there have been some?
Yeah, without an audience.
I knew of some like virtual stuff that OCB and ANBF are doing and things like that, but
Yeah, it's weird.
that seems
That's
silly.
coming soon, but especially in some states that are more open. But
I know the one show that's local that's in October, I'm close with the promoter, and he said that they're anticipating no audience, no like booths for sponsors and stuff like that, and having like people shuttle in like per class, so not everybody's in the venue at the same time.
That just seems not fun. Like, I wouldn't want to put myself through a prep for that kind of,
I don't know.
I don't know. I think at the end of the day, like for the people that like really want to compete this year, like for me, I'll take that because that's my best option. It's definitely not ideal and probably more of a pain in the ass than we probably want it to be, but I don't know. It's just crazy. Like no one would have expected this even like in January,
Oh yeah, no, I remember at work we were kind of joking about it, as terrible as it sounds now. Like we were watching the prices of flights drop.
Yeah.
And guys were like, "Shit, I'm going to Florida. It's $40." And they were like, "This can't last. Like something's gonna happen." And then everything down. Yeah.
Yeah, a guy that I know through competing up here, him and his girlfriend, same thing. When this first all happened, he was like, everybody's all afraid, and this is an opportunity to see the world and blah blah blah. And they had booked a flight to like Cancun or some shit, and then like 2 weeks later booked a flight to like Greece or something, and yeah, they all got canceled, and no one's going anywhere. So
yeah, nobody's beating the system on this one.
No.
Dan, what are unless Leroy, you had some. I was just gonna say we were talking about our competitions. Remind me, Dan, what your plans are.
2022 is kind of tentatively what I'm looking at.
Holy.
Do some WNBF shows, not for a while. I want to give myself plenty of time. 2018 it beat the life out of me, so I figured I could spend a few years and growing, and it's been really productive so far. But 2022, gonna do probably some WNBF shows. I plan on using my OCB Pro card, and hopefully I want to do the Yorton.
Nice.
And I think there's the battle for which one is it? Battle for the belt? Maybe Dave. That's not too far before the York. That they have a pro show there too. So
that's one of the Berg ones, right? Or is that the New Jersey one?
It's the New Jersey one.
Let me find out.
I know that's there's another pro show that's I think it's about 5 or 6 weeks before the Yorton. So I want to I think it was in August or so. It's still 2 years away, so I've got to plan out my season. But
you got to remember now that they've moved the Yorton to August. It's no longer in November.
Oh, that's right. They did move that, so that'll
mess things up.
Things a little bit, but
yeah, Battle for the Belt's August 22nd of this year, and that's normally where they have it. Yeah, that's in Burlington. If you do that one, I'll come to that one for sure.
I might do that one then. Yeah. I'd like to get shows as close together as possible. That's kind of the best scenario, I think, if possible. But yeah, it's planned. Maybe do an IPE show. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what the funds say and like how much money I got to travel and all that.
Yeah.
But
Come up here.
Maybe
I am
when
open
we
to that.
move.
I am open to that. That's I did not think about that, but I am very open to that.
Do my show.
Not too
That's
far.
what I was gonna say. When I move back up to New York eventually, and I'm super close, I'll definitely do your show.
Yes.
What month is that?
We're hoping September will be September 2021 is ideally the first, inaugural event. And then if things go well, I'd love to do it every September.
If you're doing it every year and it lines up with my season, I'll do it.
There we go.
I'll make
You
it.
heard it here first, people. 2022, Dan Cole's coming.
As long as I can crash at your place.
In my sick home gym that I'll definitely have by then.
Yes.
That's it. Some epic video sessions.
That's right.
Competitors at Leroy's.
Yeah.
Leroy, this puts pressure on you. You gotta have good downlighting.
Oh, you don't think I'm going to have good downlighting? Pure black walls, matte black equipment, and white top-down lighting, for sure.
The whole gym is half natty lighting.
That's right. I will always be at least 10 weeks out.
It makes a difference. That's like that posing room in Samson's that I have a bunch of pictures in when I was in Rochester there for a while. Like their posing room is legit.
It's like
it's fantastic.
It's like my kitchen.
Yeah.
Back to my garage. Right?
That's right.
One on my story today.
Yeah.
Exact same spot every time.
Okay, I know how we can end this because we all kind of chimed in on it. Classic Physique, is there a place for it or not in natural bodybuilding?
I responded to this.
I know you did. I got hate about that. People were genuinely pissed. I was like, just saying words in a sentence. Relax.
All right, Dan, you hit it first since you're the classic pro.
I do think it has a place in natural bodybuilding. It is a little bit of a different set of poses, simpler set of poses. No like half poses, which I've seen in the OCB. And at least in the OCB, I've seen some shows. It almost becomes a conditioning contest rather than a bodybuilding contest. I don't know. That's kind of my take. Like, and that's sort of how it's judged, I guess, a little bit more as a bodybuilding contest. I mean, conditioning obviously matters, but it's like sometimes it becomes like, okay, who has the most striated glutes? Like, it's not a striated glutes contest; it's a bodybuilding contest. Like, so that's my take.
And yeah, I think I responded somewhere similar to Leroy, where I said I think it has a place if it finds its place. Kind of right now, especially in the OCB, and that's one of the main reasons I'm leaving the OCB Classic Physique, is because I felt like they didn't know exactly what they wanted, and people were going pro that looked not classic whatsoever, and then there were people that like, I don't want to like, not even in my situation, whatever, like I'm not going to be sour about not winning, but I felt like the judges weren't sure. One show they pushed conditioning, one show they pushed the fullness or better posing, but I think posing has to be weighted way better in classic, because that's like what everyone thinks of is these like really majestic and graceful posers. And if you have someone that doesn't know what they're doing on stage just because they're slightly leaner or slightly bigger, like they shouldn't be awarded, I think, in that division. Where that's where I'd love to see kind of like what I believe the Arnold does it, where the posing round or the routine round is actually
It
scored.
counts, yeah.
And I think that would be huge to set that division apart so that this conversation can actually like stop happening. It's all right, we're slightly less conditioned, but we put more emphasis on like posing and like the symmetry and flow and things like that.
Yeah, like I kind of just like, I don't know. I can see both sides of the equation. As someone who did both divisions in one show, I can honestly say I changed my trunks and pulled a vacuum, and that was basically the only difference. You know what I mean? I think that was something that just I had experienced that in reality, besides me doing a front double like this or a front double like this with one arm down and having, you know, a little bit longer trunks, it really was interchangeable because I pose classic in bodybuilding. You know what I mean? Like, that's just how I like to pose. And I think a lot of good bodybuilders pose that way just because I would argue that's good posing. I think people that go out with, you know, AC/DC Thunderstruck and just go through the mandatories, that's not good posing. So I don't know. I think that, you know, from that point of view, then you could argue against it. But I also get what you guys are talking about. And I agree that I think across all classes, posing should be graded in some form or another.
I think now I've just lost my thought. Actually, wow, I just blanked immediately. I had like this.
Must not have been good.
James, I think you had something right where like I think they do need to kind of lock down the criteria a little bit more. Like, are they looking for conditioning or size? Like what they have listed kind of on what they say is, you know, what they judged on. Oh, we're not looking for size in bodybuilding. It's like the bigger guy is still going to win. We're not looking for conditioning. Or not always going to win, but you know, it's completely comparable. You have one guy that's bigger, one guy that's smaller. The conditioning's the same. The bigger guy's going to win. That's just how it goes. Like conditioning, like I don't think you're going to get criticism for being too conditioned in classic physique. It's just, I do think that they need to kind of get that kind of clean a little bit.
I think having the same poses hurts too, right? Like I think that I feel like Nick Strength and Power did a video about this, but like having like a mandatory vacuum pose, having the crucifix pose, the archer, like across, you know, when I competed, I did side chest in both, front double in both, back double in both, ab and thigh in both, and then I did a most muscular, a side tricep on the bodybuilding side, and then on the classic side, we finished with classic pose of choice. So really, there's no difference, right? So I think if they change up some poses as well, that would differentiate it.
So the IPE tried to do that, or NANBF. I just feel like they chose some real, not the greatest poses where it ended up being ugly. Because I was looking at some of the results and some of the photos of that. They did a vacuum pose. They did a twisting rear double bicep. They did offset bicep, archer pose, mantis pose, which mantis and victory pose in my mind, like unless you're massive, you don't look doing it. Too many people try and do it and they just look like orangutans with super long, thin arms. Like you have to have a certain look to pull that off. So that being
you have to have a massive chest and big biceps.
Well, in the mantis too, you need like this tricep to like hang when you turn into that because if not, it just looks like noodles.
So I agree with there needing to be different poses, but I don't agree with the ones that the IPE chose necessarily. And I think they walked back some of those as the season went on. But I remember what I was saying. I think the big caveat is that the difference really should shine in the pro stages. Like a very talented amateur most likely will be able to walk through a lot of the amateur competition because we've seen the amateur competition. There's like one or two really good guys, and then the rest are like, you know, they're not going to place as well, and everyone knows that going in. So, you know, maybe a bodybuilding guy could be able to transition to classic physique in a local show and win both, but they should never, like on a pro stage, it should be very clear these are the pro bodybuilders and these are the pro classic physique guys just by their look. So that's where that difference, I think, really needs to be. That comes down to judging again. So
can you name a top pro natural who fits classic over open bodybuilding? Because the biggest argument is that Bumstead is classic, Phil Heath is not. And that is a very clear difference. Where you look at, you know, you put those trunks on Brian Whitaker and get him to do like a classic pose, you'd be like, oh, yep, I can see that. Or like any of the top WNBF guys, right? Like all those people, you could potentially interchange that look.
I'll use Berto as an example. I don't think there's too much classic about Alberto Nunez, but he's a shredded motherfucker and he's got some good muscle. I don't even know why I would say that. It's just the look doesn't, like, I can't see him rocking a crucifix pose and like pulling it off, or, I respect the shit out of the guy. I think he's the best of our generation, but just like certain poses versus.
I'd have to see it. You know what I mean?
His most muscular. That's just like alien looking.
Love it.
That's natural bodybuilding to me. He's one of the first people that I found when I got into natural bodybuilding.
That makes two of us.
He, to me, is like the icon of our generation, really. So I can't see him as a classic physique athlete, just I guess because of that.
Yeah. Dan, any remarks?
I can definitely see. I think James is onto something there. I think a lot of times you can kind of transfer between the two, but like the same thing, like men's physique. There's a lot of men's physique guys that can do pretty well in open bodybuilding too. So like,
that's what I mean, though. That's just a change in pants, really.
Yeah.
Like I started in men's physique too, right? But I had legs and they were just hidden.
Yeah.
So who's to say one was right, one was wrong, right?
It is a little different in natural bodybuilding, I think, because you don't get the the guts and some of the distension and that sort of thing.
I mean, even Doug Miller, if he could pull a vacuum and hit an archer, probably look pretty classic.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean, though? That's what I mean. I think there's probably some cases, though, like you were mentioning, like Berto and stuff, that there could be people that just like skeletally, it just might not be there, right? Like their hips might be just too wide in relation to their collarbones that they can't hit these poses that are just like, oh yeah, that's that classic aesthetic shot. Whereas like a most muscular might look unreal. So.
Do you think your coach would do well in classic Brett or James Brett? I think he's similar, that he would do better in open bodybuilding than classic.
Yeah, I think the classic to me is just like the bigger, like the really dense muscular guys, where like some of the slightly leaner competitors that just get shredded with good proportions, I don't think would do as well. So like maybe even like Cliff and Brett and those guys who are on that like leaner stature may not do as well in my mind. I mean, I'm not a judge by any means or anything, but yeah, I think Brett would be another good example. Cool. His side chest is absolutely freaking ridiculous still, but. Oh yeah.
Oh, his posing is. Yeah, he just looks. Yeah, his rear shots too, just like.
I show people when I want to like upset them a little bit, like the photos of him with his ass when he's like competition ready.
Those photos.
I'm like, nah, that's me.
Yeah. He has those two photos in the doorway of his hotel. Those are like the two photos from the back. I think he's like pulling into a lat spread. I look at those and I'm like, yeah, Leroy, so you're still fat.
If you're watching this, I show photos of your butt to people. So
I also show your butt to people. All right, dudes. Any closing remarks as far as either the classic combo or just life in general?
It's been a fun 2020 so far. Props to you, Leroy, for sticking with it and trying to hit a show. I couldn't do it. Not a chance.
Well, I can't go to restaurants, so it doesn't fucking matter.
No cheat meals anyway.
That's right. It's no different.
Yeah.
All right, dudes. Appreciate your time. We'll hit it up again sometime soon. Right. In July, we'll hit up another one. By the way, neither one of you messaged me, but I accidentally deleted the previous one, so I will not do that this time.
I was wondering if it just like sounded so terrible if I got off on a rant and you were like, I can't.
I'm like, I can't post that. No, what the problem is, my Mac, because I do so much like graphics and stuff on it, it gets full all the time, and I have to like trash bin, delete. It was in that. So hopefully there was no hidden gems that we really touched on something valuable that just is now in cyberspace forever.
That's all right.
All right, boys. Appreciate it. We'll be talking soon.
Sounds good.
Thanks, everybody, for watching. We'll see you guys in the next one.